Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fruitful Fridays. Hope you're excited to be here. I've got a great lineup today. Actually, not a lineup, but a great topic I'm going to be talking about. It's physical self-care for success. And it's so important. We're going to talk about being fruitful first. Uh, this is the second part in a series that I'm doing about harmony, to find peace and to be in the flow, to stay in the flow, uh, you know, being successful and advocating all these areas, implementing them in your life. It's going to give you that flow for success, to have ease in every single day. So, how we start out, I'm Karen Treaster. How we start out is just talking about how you were fruitful. So, I hope you all had a good week. I had a good week. I hope you had a good week. Let's take a moment and just think about how you were fruitful. Because gosh, so often we just don't do that. And taking the time to reflect is going to bring more, because you're going to bring attention to it. You're going to give it some gratitude, and feeling that gratitude is just going to bring more of it. And I know so often we just don't do it. And celebrate the fact that you did something, whether it was big or small. It doesn't even matter what it was, whether it was for business, whether it was for personal. It all counts. It all counts. And when you recognize it, you bring energy to it. And that's what we're about this morning, too. I want to tell you, it's about energy. It's about bringing your energy to what you're doing. And so I'm excited about what we're going to talk about. Today, it's physical. And this is, one component of that harmony piece. And it's near and dear to me. Let me just say who I am, and I'll explain why it's so near and dear to me. For those who don't know who I am Karen Treaster, and my company is Never Settle Life Coaching. And I work with people in transition and also with divorced women to get whole and thrive. And so, doing all these components, I always try to incorporate, again, because then you can do things with ease, and to find confidence, to find joy in every day, and find success. And also, what I was saying, why this is so near and dear to me, is because I am a former fitness instructor. Actually, I'm a personal trainer, still am. I do not practice that, but of course, I'm such a big advocate of it, because it's been something that's been part of my life. And I also was in nutrition too. I'm not a nutritionist. However, I did work with nutrition, and I helped a lot of people back to health, and I studied a lot. So and because I wanted to know myself. And I also have a story. I lost 20 pounds, and how I did that. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But let's go ahead. And again, I'm glad either, if you're joining, or maybe you're going to come to the replay. I get a lot of people on the replay. I'm just happy to have you here today. And so the number one tips, what I'm going to do is go have 3 tips. And the tips, I'm going to be tweaking them. I'm going to be giving you, they're going to be so simple. You're going to hear things that from a different point of view. So stay tuned. Don't go away. This is something that you're really, really going to want to hear. So the topic again is physical self-care for success. All right, let's start with number 1. And that is to strategically move or exercise. And I know so many people who I talk to and ask if they're just in conversation, it'll come up about exercising. And they'll say, yeah, I exercise. And I'll, just in conversation, well, what do you do? And, where do you do it? And they'll just say, well, I haven't done it for a while, or I did it last week, or I did it the week before, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? It's easy to get into that routine. And I want to show you a way that you can break that. And again, being a mindset coach, it's all about the mindset. So let me ask you this. Whoops, I just knocked my computer. So you got a little ride there. Okay, so do you plan it? So this is really important, being strategic and planning it. I know for me, I will plan when I exercise. I will set my appointments around it. Now, can you always do that? No. And like this morning, I had to get ready because I'm going out right after. I've got a full day. And so I had to plan it a little bit earlier, and I'll talk about what I did for that. But this is the key, to put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. And you can do really simple things. There are, I know I work out of my home. I do DVDs, which make it very convenient. And I think that's something that I used to go to a gym. But I'm not talking about going to the gym and working out for an hour. I want to show you how just moving is so important for your health and everything else, and alertness, for your productivity and everything else. And if you go to the gym, that's fantastic. A lot of people do, and I used to. Some people get motivated by that. And some people are in a competition, and trying new things, I think, are always great. But how about just turning on some music at your home and dancing? Or you can go for a walk. You can just go out for a quick walk. There are online little short programs that you can just turn on and get it done really quickly. You can go swimming. I know here in Florida, you can actually just walk in a pool or just jog. And my whole mantra is, again, actually, I haven't said this, but to do it, to have this mindset, and that is to do something every day. Okay, do something every day. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a full-blown workout. If I can't do something, now I'm going to take for today, for example. Like I said, I didn't have time. And so what I did is I did one thing. And so this is my suggestion to you, is that you just pick one thing that you do and do that. And my go-to, thank you, Renita. Thanks for coming. Just do the one thing. And I'm going to give you some suggestions on that, what that one thing can do, or what that one thing could be. So for me, my go-to is push-ups. So if I don't do anything, I'm going to at least do push-ups. So if I've turned on the water in my shower and I haven't worked out, guess what? I'm going to do the push-ups first. And you know what? You can do push-ups against a wall. You can do 5 push-ups on the ground on your knees. It's the mindset. And it's the mindset, because I'm sure you've heard before, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I originally heard that from T. Harv Eker, who's a motivational speaker. And it has stuck with me. And that's what's given me the motivation to work out every day, because I have that mindset. I have to get it done. Got to do it. No excuses. And I'm going to give you more tips on how to make it, get it into your day. Another thing is that another, if you want to do a little bit more, like here's some suggestions. You can march in place. What about marching in place for a minute? You can do it when you're brewing the coffee. You can do it when you're watching TV. You can do it in between whatever, when you're looking for clothes in your closet. If you're like me, it might take you a while. So just whenever you can do it. So you can do a complex, what's called a complex, and this comes from my personal trainer hat, complex exercise. So let's say you're doing those marching in places. Hey Kim, nice to have you here. So let's say you're doing the marching in place. So if you can just do high knees, just do arm raises. We're talking about just doing one thing every day. And so this morning I didn't have time to go out and do a lot, so I did my push-ups. But you can do just marching in place. You can raise your arms. You can do squats and do some bicep curls with that. And just doing it for that minute is going to get you motivated and put you into that mindset that you need to really make sure that you're inspired. And like I said, it made absolutely all the difference for me. And here's another little trick too. Okay, now so you've gone the whole day, right? And you haven't exercised. And you're brushing your teeth at night. Guess what I do? I do leg raises while I'm brushing my teeth. Hey, I got something in, right? It's the mindset. So I do leg raises. Raise your legs to the side. And you know how boring brushing your teeth is. And guess what? I brush my teeth longer now. How cool is that? Do leg raises to the side. Do leg raises to the back. I'm telling you, great for your butt, great for your legs. And you know what? It's awesome. And by doing this, you are gonna set the stage for better self-esteem, for better productivity, for more energy. And I love doing it in the morning because you get that energy and setting yourself up for peace in your life, because when you have all these components in these 4 areas that in this series that I'm talking about, you are going to find more peace. So that's really what I suggest, is to be strategic. Keep that in mind, have that mindset, because it trains your brain. Trains your brain, one thing every day. And I know just sharing this with my clients, it's really helped them to succeed in other areas. And, it's going to help your alertness. It's going to help so many different things. Now, other things that you can do, dancing, you can go out and just have fun somewhere, boating, just being physically active, golfing, tennis, things like a massage are really good for self-care too, and a facial and sauna and yoga is so good. And a couple other things that I just would want to mention is drinking plenty of water. Water is so important. Try to get some good water, a good filtered water, and just make sure that you're drinking enough. That's going to really help to keep your body running optimally, and getting plenty of rest too. That's another thing. Getting plenty of rest is going to help you to be more successful. And there's plenty of exercises to get you in that mode too, like yoga. And I know Kim can attest to that. So these things, it's about the mindset. If you can do that, it's really going to help with your success. While I'm in this mindset mode, I want to mention a couple of things before I get into the second tip. This came as a download. I went to see a motivational speaker that I talked about, T. Harv Eker, and I was at a warrior camp with him. And these were 5 affirmations, and I just want to read them because I think they're so important. And I realize that I've really implemented them. I had some setbacks in my marriage where I couldn't do exactly what I wanted to do. And what I want to say is, because I did have done this deeper work that I'm doing now, I was able to come to the place of peace where I am today and for success. So here is, okay, bye, Kim. Here are the 5 affirmations. And I am a warrior. And any veterans out there, aho. I create every moment of my life. My choices create my reality. My response creates my outcome. There is no can't. I choose to or choose not to. So it's really about a choice. It's about a choice. And I've given you plenty of hopefully great tips that you can do this one thing every single day. All right, let's go on to the next one for self-care, for physical self-care. And that is eating food and nutrition on purpose. So you know what? Our temples are everything, right? Our bodies, let's take care of our bodies. Feed it good food, feed it positivity, do what you can to keep it in shape. It's the only bodies we have. And by doing that, you're going to get the energy that you need to do whatever has to be done for the day. And so a lot of people hear about thinking on purpose, but what about eating on purpose? So I'm going to kind of touch on that. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, but I know enough about it. And really, I'm very cognizant of what I eat. I eat for, not all the time for fuel, but I'm very aware of what I need to give me that energy. And I think about it because it's going to help your bones. It's going to help your organs. It's going to help your alertness, endurance by eating well, so many things. And a lot of people eat counterproductively. And I'm just saying to maybe think about this and be a little bit more mindful. And everybody's different. So people, you know what, they ask, is this diet good? Is that diet good? Good for me? How do you lose weight? How do you do this? How do you do that? I lost weight. I really studied a lot about nutrition, and it's really about you. And I'll give you some examples of eating, because it's how your body responds to food. And one of the number one things that I will do is I'll really listen to my body when I'm eating something and ask myself if I feel bloated. That was probably one of the biggest things that I did. And when I felt bloated, I just had to cut that out. So there were several things that I had to actually cut out. And one of them was pasta, unfortunately. Now, do I ever cheat? Yes, I do. But here's what I want to say. Thank you for the hearts. Here's what I want to say is that for the most part, I eat well. Okay, for the most part. So I can go ahead and cheat. So if somebody invites me over, if I go out to dinner and there's a beautiful pasta, yes, I'm going to eat it. I don't have it in the house. Another thing I can't eat is dairy. And I'm not saying you can't. It's, again, listen to your body. Everybody's different. And I don't eat a lot of breads. But you know what? I can eat whatever I want when I do it mindfully, when I do it on purpose. And here's the thing. Getting used to foods sometimes takes a little bit of just acquiring the taste. Because let's face it, did you like broccoli when you first had it? Did you like sushi? Did you like tofu? Yeah, Maybe not. Maybe some of you do, and some of you may be eating very, very well. But I always think there's something you can tweak. So just by having the knowledge that it's really, really good for you, and giving it a few chances, not just one, I think is important. And here's another thing: really looking at uh, labels. Morning, Giselle. So glad you're here. Um, Looking at labels, and be mindful of the label. And okay, so I'm going to give you a couple things to look at because I know it can be confusing. I will look at the sugar. That's the first thing, because sugar is addictive. Uh, there's and it's in the unrefined sugar is in the uh, flour, in carbs. So if you see that, it's going to break down into sugar, and you really want to avoid that as much as you can. And can you always? No, of course not, but as much as you can, because the more you eat of that, the more you're going to want it. So have you noticed, if you stop eating that for a few days, then all of a sudden your body doesn't really crave it anymore. And so it's just about the mindset and being on purpose. Now I'm going to give you a couple examples of what I do, to how I switch out foods. So instead of eating hamburgers, and do I ever eat a hamburger? Yes. If I go to a barbecue or something, I'm going to eat it. I'm not a vegan or vegetarian or anything. However, I'll buy veggie burgers at the house. So I always have them here. And while I'm saying that, I love organic, and as much organic as I can, because processed food has so many chemicals in it, and your body doesn't know what to do with it, and it's just gonna keep it and store it as fat or whatever in your body. So if you want to keep your body flowing and moving, and your digestive system, the less chemicals you have in your body, the better. So I'm not going to get all into that. So the veggie burgers are great. I like Amy's, and specifically, I love the spicy bean one. So another thing is salad dressing. Salad dressing can be so fattening. And look at the salad dressing, and what I'll do personally, I use oil and vinegar, salt and pepper. I mean, I'm pretty simple. um, and when I go out to a restaurant, if all they have are other choices, what I'll do is I'll pick a couple sometimes. Like, say you really like a Goddess, or their homemade one that's more creamy, like a ranch or something like that. Get a vinaigrette and use mostly that, and then add in just a little bit of the other one. It's going to cut back on the dressings. And if you buy any of those pre-made ones, like in the store or something, just look at the count and just add a little bit, and then add oil and vinegar. So I just mix it. Another suggestion: eat carbs before 12 o'clock. So if you got to eat like a cookie that's hanging around, eat it before 12 o'clock, and your body's got more time to work it off. And so another little thing is, when I was losing weight, you know what, I implemented all of these little tweaks. And one of the suggestions that was made for dessert was the 85% cacao chocolate, which actually I love. But guess what? I had it in my house, and I found, I don't know if anybody else does this, but if it's in my house, I had one square one night. Well, then the next night I had two, and then I wanted three, and then I wanted four. So I was like, you know what, this isn't working. Just get it out of my house. And so for me, that's the only thing I can do. I know if some of you have kids, it might be a little bit more difficult, but just get it out of your sight as best you can. So you be the judge of your food. You know what? It's really common sense how you feel. I'm not obsessive about foods. I eat what I want. I'm very happy. I love the foods I eat, and I have acquired, just a taste for kind of the foods that might be a little bit better for me. That's all. So it's just all it takes is tweaking. So what I invite you to do is just make one little tweak this week if you can. Make one little tweak um, with the nutrition and change it up. All right. So the last tip that I have today for physical self-care for success is to declutter your space around you. And this is huge. A lot of people don't really put any value in that because you can get so overwhelmed and so anxious, whether you're in the office at home. It's going to just put you in a place where you're not going to get as much clarity. And if you can just get rid of, like, go into your closets, get rid of some of the clothes, get rid of on your bookshelf. Maybe there are old books you don't need. Maybe you've got collections on tchotchkes or just kind of, little decorations or something that really isn't serving you anymore. It just doesn't do anything. If you can clear that, I'm telling you, it's just a great feeling of a weight lifted off of you. And a lot of people, I work with people with divorced women, and they have carried in some stuff from their previous marriage. And guess what? That carries energy with it. And sometimes that can be a bad energy that you're getting. So you might want to consider whether you want that anymore. If you've got piles, I know I can get piles pretty easily. Magazines, notebooks, whatever. Really cleaning those up, finding a home for them, finding a home. It's going to open up a channel. It's going to open up a space for you to have more, clarity and possibilities. And ask yourself, does this make me happy? You've got an object or an art or whatever. Does it still make me happy? And do you love it? And just give it to charity, make you feel good, or throw it away, whatever. It's really a great thing that you can do. And instead, create a soul-loving space, especially at your home. And when you have that environment, when you love what you see, when you walk in your home and you see things, like, add something new, okay? Now you've gotten rid of something, go out and you deserve it. Go out and get something that maybe you really love. Because when you walk in your place and it's your sanctuary, it's what raises your energy and makes you feel good. And that's why I don't mind working out in my home, and especially just doing the one thing. I love, like I said, going out, doing different things. But you know what? You deserve that compassion. You deserve the compassion for yourself. So just kind of look around. What can you do to elevate your room? What can you do to elevate your room? It's going to help to elevate you and everything around you. And so by doing these tips that I'm suggesting, exercising, doing one thing, having that mindset, decluttering one thing in your home, and maybe switching one thing up with your food. And by the way, if you do supplements, I'm not going to say either way. It's good for some people, maybe not for others. I do take them. It's always a good thing. Find a reputable company. That's what I suggest. But go out, do these things. And you know what? Just by changing that one habit, you're going to find more clarity. You're going to find more energy. You're going to be motivated, and you're going to want to do more. When you want to do more, you feel good. You're going to have more gratitude, and that's what you're going to get back. So go out. You guys deserve it. And remember always to, oh, hey, Buzz. Hey, Skip Kelly. How are you? Remember to stay present. Stay in today. Don't think about yesterday. Nothing you can do about it. Don't think about the future. It all is going to work out. Have faith. Know everything is going to be okay. Do what you can today, and that's all you can do. So make it a fabulous day. Raise your energy and go out and kill today. All right, everybody. Have an awesome, fabulous day. If you want to know more about me, those who don't know me, go to my website, neversettlelifecoaching.com. I do have a little program on there that incorporates all this. Next week, we're going to talk about spiritual self-care. So don't miss it. Have a fabulous Friday, a fabulous weekend, and a very fruitful week this week. Remember, never settle and live a life you love. Have an awesome day, everybody. Bye-bye.